Joining us now to review some of the headlines of today's newspapers from around the world is Arise News analyst and distinguished Niger wife, Vimbai Mutinhiri Ekpenyong. Good morning, Vimbai.
Good morning, Dr. Abati. Good morning, Ayo. Good morning, Rufai. Very well, and yourselves? Oh, today it's a fist pump. I like it. I like it. We don't have a lot of time today. Such an action-packed show. You guys are doing a fantastic job as always. But we're going to get straight into our newspapers. We kick off with this day, as is tradition. This day, of course, leading with the conversations that we've already seen discussed in such great depth already this morning. With, of course, the former Senate President, that's Senator David Mark, making the statement that it's time for Tinubu to review Nigeria's security architecture, says Plateau massacre is a wake-up call. Muftuang rallies North Central governors to advance peace, unity for regional development. Above that, of course, another conversation that was had this morning. Peter Obi, Labour Party, ready to play role as Nigeria's main opposition party. And good news, of course, listen, Dangote has already won 2024. It's the third day of the year, and he's already man of the year, as Dangote Refinery expects its fifth 1 million barrels of crude supply tomorrow. So that's a leading conversation on this day. We're going to move very quickly today because we have a lot of stories. Next up, we take Daily Trust. Now, a Daily Trust, of course, still leading with security issues, which is the North Central governors to the federal government identify root cause of Plateau killings for lasting peace. Another robust conversation that was had this morning on the program. Let's go to the bottom of the front page. 37 billion naira fraud. Ex-Minister Sadia faces EFCC today. Suspension in Sipa boss, loyalist finger minister Edu's associates kick EFCC mum on feud after raid. Of course, giving insight to ex-Minister of Humanitarian Affairs, Disaster Management and Social Development, that's Sadia Farouk, who is involved in the 37.1 billion naira investigation. She will face the EFCC today. But of course, off of the back of this major development is just yesterday when the President, Tinubu, ordered the immediate suspension of Halima Shehu. She's the CEO and the National Coordinator of the National Social Investment Program Agency. She's already been replaced by the N-Power Program Manager Akindele Egbualo in acting capacity. Now, Hajia Halima was arrested shortly after the suspension. She was arrested by EFCC over the suspicious movement of 17 billion naira from the Nsipa account to other accounts within 1 week. She's also said, according to the Daily Trust report, she's also said to be in a tussle for authority over funds with the current Minister of Humanitarian Affairs and Poverty Alleviation, that is Dr. Betta Edu, and at the focus of that alleged tussle is the $800 million World Bank conditional cash transfer program. So we quickly go to the Nation newspaper, which is leading with the same story. That's the Nation newspaper. 17 billion naira cash. EFCC detains social investment scheme coordinator. Massive story there. We're going to quickly move to another huge conversation that affects every single one of us. The Punch newspaper. The Punch newspaper is leading with NNPCL marketers clash over subsidy. Operators peg petrol at 1,200 naira per litre. So the marketers oppose the federal government on subsidy. NNPCL says fuel importation cost is now fully recovered. Dealers insist on 1,200 naira per litre fuel. 112 oil theft cases recorded in 1 week. Now, just to get into detail on this, of course, off of the back of the falling Naira rate, the general sentiment from economists and oil marketers right now is that the subsidy has not been removed. However, it has been reduced. They're saying the true market price of fuel right now should be 1,200 naira per litre, given current exchange rate realities. Of course, we know that fuel is currently ranging from 617 to 660 naira, depending on where you are in the country. And NNPCL adamant there is no subsidy. Conversation to be had there. However, so many huge stories on the front page of the Punch. If we look above the masthead in the left-hand window, false degrees. The federal government shuts 18 foreign varsity campuses. Major shake-up in the education sector yesterday as the FG banned 18 foreign universities operating in Nigeria. They tagged them degree mills. Now, this is also following the temporary suspension of evaluation and accreditation of degree certificates from the Republic of Benin and Togo. Now, all of this is thanks to great journalism. It came to light after a special investigative report titled "How Daily Nigerian Reporter Bagged Cotonou Varsity Degree in 6 weeks." So an undercover reporter, Umar Audu, bagged a degree, a Bachelor of Science in Mass Communication certificate within 6 weeks from a university in Cotonou. And it was great to see the Minister of Education, Maman, acting very swiftly to investigate the situation. Very, very quickly, before we get into conversation, let's take a couple of international publications. Let's start with The Guardian UK. The Guardian UK is leading with "Israel assassinates senior Hamas leader in Lebanon." So Saleh al-Aruri was killed yesterday in a drone strike in Beirut. Very scary and shocking development, because this possibly indicates that this war could now spill over into the heart of Lebanon, which nobody wants. So that's The Guardian UK. Of course, below that is the image of that horrible plane crash that took place in Tokyo, in Japan yesterday. However, I love the caption. It says, "We've seen a miracle. 379 passengers and crew survived that jet crash." So a tragic story, but of course, a silver lining. And finally, the New York Times. I'll just take one quick story from the New York Times. Harvard's first black president and second female president, that's Claudine Gay, announced her resignation on Tuesday after accusations of plagiarism and what was called her insufficient response to anti-Semitism on campus. And she was only president for just under 6 months, as she was appointed in July of last year. So, huge conversations to be had, so much news. Yeah.
So there was a case of plagiarism, fine, but I will hazard this was what happened. Claudine, once she got to Harvard, when the conversation between Palestinian and Israeli people was up, in the spirit of Harvard, get a level playing field to the conversation. And the Jewish lobby were obviously not happy about it. And that's why she was pushed to go, account for it in the Congress. And once that controversy started, because it was not only her university, there were many other universities in America. Once that controversy started, then they brought the issue of plagiarism out. Although that case had not been, totally settled, because when the case of plagiarism was said, some that commented in the issue made a case for her. But I knew she was well on her way out. It just shows you how strong the Jewish lobby is in America. And they just had to get her out of there once and for all. And I'm sure it was based on the pressure of all of that happened that she had to resign, making her one of the shortest person to have one of the shortest tenures ever. But when you now extrapolate that to what Israel did on Lebanese soil, the the Hezbollah are saying that they're not going to take that sitting low. That they're definitely, going to fight back and all of that. And it's just going to escalate tensions there and in that region. We also know what the Houthi rebels are doing across the channels and all of that. Coming back here, I think what the Education Ministry has done as regards the investigative report banning is good, but they must also sanitize the NYSC. The NYSC that they were helping to bribe, and also the immigration official that they connive with to stamp in and out travels for somebody that never traveled in and out of the country. So the immigration official or the customs official must also be questioned. The investigation must go deeply. Also, the NYSC that is so porous in their system of knowing who had served before that somebody can just tweak something about their name and their phone number. Because the guy said, when he first tried the system said, oh, this person had been there before. He just tweaked his phone number. The NYSC too must be investigated. And also, the racketeering in the education ministry must be investigated if we really want to get to the bottom of all of this matter. Concerning 1,200 petrol, and the marketers now saying, they have just confirmed that initially subsidy was still being paid. And you're going to find the blowout because in one breath, government is saying that we've removed subsidy, marketers can come into the market, and NNPC is still paying the subsidies, and that's why the price are fixed at 600.
All right, I mean, I was going to comment on the Federal Ministry of Education coming down on those universities. A notable one there is the Hudegbe North American University, which is very popular. We have seen a number of people come out with degree certificates from these universities. I think this is, this move should be applauded. But beyond that, the reason why there's such a, shall I say, proliferation of degrees from outside the shores of this country is because we have to fix our own university education system. The fact that in those countries that they go to, some of them, there are no strike actions, there's quality education. So whilst clamping down on those illegal structures, we must also build ours so that Nigerian students have an alternative back here. But I totally agree with Rufai that deeper investigations, the newspaper has done theirs, but there needs to be further investigation into this. Okay,
the story from Israel. Yes, there was an attack on Hamas office in south of Lebanon, in Beirut. And that resulted in the death of one of the founders of the Qassam Brigade and a top-ranking official of Hamas. Well, Lebanon may be dragged into the matter because the Prime Minister has accused Israel of committing a crime on Lebanese soil. And the irony of it, of course, is that this happened a day after Israel had announced that it was drawing down on its troops in Gaza. What you are likely to have is an escalation of the war. More so as the Iranians have moved the destroyer to the Red Sea and to the Suez Canal, with Americans watching the situation closely. And then finally, of course, yesterday there was drama in Lagos when Governor Sanwo-Olu arrested a soldier and 3 others who were driving one way. And then the soldier had the temerity to tell the governor, "I'm a soldier." And the governor said, "Well, you are a soldier, you are breaking the law. You are driving one way. Bundle this stupid boy and put him in the guardrobe." I hope that the military authorities will also follow up and discipline that lance corporal. People cannot wear uniform and think that because they are wearing uniform, they have the right to break the law. This is a major point that Governor Sanwo-Olu made eloquently yesterday. And it was a good thing. He was going to commission one of the legacy projects of Femi Gbajabiamila. Those projects, fantastic. I've since seen the pictures and I'm impressed. If Femi Gbajabiamila has ever sinned, I think all his sins should be forgiven.
No.
Have you seen those projects? Have you seen those projects? The conference center, the hospital, the roundabout. Okay, let other lawmakers and public officials follow the example. But I'm speaking for myself. He will not sin anymore. He will do more. Thank you, Femi Gbajabiamila.